Hello, the Isle of Lewis chess queen. What a piece. If you're a chess player like I am, you'll know that the queen is terrifying. She is absolutely terrifying. And in the Isle of Lewis, there's various versions of her among the various chess pieces of the Isle of Lewis. There's this one here, for example. And there's this one here, which you can buy as a fridge magnet. Yes, I know. So you can see that they've got a lot in common. So they do. They don't have any weapons, unlike the rooks, the knights, the king. They've got no weapons. And you think, well, why is this? Why are they the most terrifying, powerful pieces on the board? And what has this got to do with the Virgin Mary? Okay, so these were made in the late 1100s. And fascinatingly, when these pieces were made, they didn't move the way the modern queen does. The queen only started to even be a piece in Europe around the year 1000. Before that, it had come into Europe as a piece called the counselor, or the vizier, the advisor, right next to the king, there to support and guide the king. So not a major battle piece. In fact, a really weak piece. Could only move diagonally one square at a time. So really just there as just a wee backup standing right next to the king. So around the year 1000 in Europe, stopped being called the counselor, started to be called queen. And so they're depicted here in what was made in the late 1100s as queens. So they're still weak. That would be why they've not got any weapons. And they're still in a support role. So this queen, she's got a horn. That could be a horn for drink. It could be a horn that contains money, because that was a Scandinavian thing. Or it could be a horn that she might blow to encourage the fighters. They've both in this situation where they've got their head in their hand, and it looks as though they're just bored, frankly. But we're not viewing them with medieval eyes. So I actually stumbled across an icon, and I'm going to put the link below, an ancient Orthodox icon, which has the Queen at the foot, which has the Virgin Mary at the foot of the cross, going like this, in mourning. So that's in the description below. Here's another ancient Orthodox icon, and you can see there, John at the foot of the cross, he's got his head in his hand as well. So the idea is that what these queens are doing is not that they're bored, it's just that they are grieving. The idea is that they're grieving to behold the battle happening in front of them, grieving to see people on their side being slain. And this is an image that was often used for the depiction of the Virgin Mary at the foot of the cross. See the example in the description below. So this ties in with the idea that they represent the Virgin Mary in a way. Now, I've already done a video on the Isle of Lewis chess king and talked about how he represents God and how, as part of Christian kingship, the idea that a Christian king should be replicating and help bring about God's reign on earth and be an image of God the King, of Jesus the King. So the idea that the Queen should be modelled on the Virgin Mary. That was a widespread idea in medieval times. Elizabeth I is the great Virgin Queen. She's an example of that. And it could be argued that the idea of the importance of queens was boosted by Christianization. That's an argument that could be made. We can think of early powerful queens like Margaret of Scotland, the Queen and Saint, or Empress Matilda. These are both women who were around and powerful just before these pieces were made. And so, yeah, the Queen was taking an increasingly powerful role and modeling herself, well, on the Virgin Mary, the power of the Virgin Mary, the concept of the queenship of Mary. So, yes, they're grieving like Mary at the foot of the cross. This queen, she does have crosses on her throne. You can see they're diagonal to distinguish from the crucifixion crosses of Jesus, which are on her husband's throne. She's got a veil on because she's married, and married women have their hair covered. And so, yeah, when she was made a weak piece there to support her husband, the king, like the Virgin Mary was there to support Jesus. My soul doth magnify the Lord type thing. Well, so how did she get so terrifying, by the way? Well, Marilyn Yalom has written a book, which I've not read, where she says that as queens became more and more powerful, building on what Empress Matilda did, by the time you got to people like Eleanor of Aquitaine or Isabel of Castile, really terrifying queens, that helped the idea of expanding the Queen's power on the board. And so by the late 1400s, the piece went wham, gangbusters like she is today, really powerful like she is today. But when these were made, supportive role like the Virgin Mary, standing by the Lord, helping the Lord, that Virgin Mary role, and grieving at his death, as it was prophesied of her, a sword shall pierce your own heart too. And there you can see actually it's quite poignant, a sword piercing that Queen's heart. Okay, thanks, bye.